It's a new year. Yes, it is. I was trying to do a new day kind of thing and, well, it didn't really work. So let's just move on. Let's get this year started with a bang. Let's rank 5 horror movie villains who deserve another chance on this episode of Ranking Rumble. Welcome back to WWH. My name is Andrew Dreamer. I hope everybody had a safe and happy new year. I can't help but feel almost rejuvenated heading into 2025. Toward the end of last year, I started feeling a little burnt out. I was putting a lot of effort and time into these videos, and I wasn't necessarily seeing the return that I had anticipated for them. But I took a few days off, played some video games, watched some damn good wrestling, and now I feel better than I have in a long time. And I want to say thank you to every single one of you who has supported me in any way. It truly means the world to me. All right, on to today's topic. Horror movie villains who deserve another chance. Now, what do I mean by that? I'm not saying that we should give these villains a slap on the wrist and try to reform them or anything like that. No, what I mean is there are some horror villains who deserve another chance to shine in a new film. The characters that I'm talking about today are basically dead and buried, and that could be for a multitude of reasons. Maybe their last movies have just been awful. Maybe there was some behind-the-scenes stuff that has prevented new movies from being made. Who knows? But I would absolutely love to see these characters return in a big way and reach new heights. Before we get going though, be sure to body slam that subscribe button so you never miss any of the heart-pounding, chill-inducing 5-star matches we have here at WWH. Also, go ahead and let me know down in the comments what horror villain you think should make a return. It is bell time though, so grab your popcorn and make your way to your seat. Let's head down to the ring. Starting us off at number 5 is Freddy Krueger. Yes, we have not seen the Dream Demon since the 2010 remake, which I absolutely hate. I think it's a movie that could have been great if they ran with some of their new ideas, but instead they only touch on them, then continue to hit the same beats as the original. And some great practical effects were replaced with some very bad looking CGI. None of this movie is necessarily unforgivable, but it's the sum of its parts that make it so bad in my opinion. And I didn't even mention that them confirming the one character aspect of Freddy that makes it impossible to root for him in this movie. Yeah, they went there, and that's a huge thing. With all that being said, I know Wes Craven's estate has been shopping around and looking for someone to possibly make a new movie. And all I've got to say about that is, it's about time. We've seen several horror franchises rise from the ashes, including Halloween, Hellraiser, and Candyman. We've got the upcoming reboot of I Know What You Did Last Summer, the upcoming Crystal Lake series. Hell, we've even got another Final Destination movie coming out later this year. It is time for Freddy Krueger to make his return as well. It's been 15 years at this point. Fans want this very badly. And I'm not even that big of a fan of the Nightmare films, but I want it too. I'm not naive enough to believe that we're going to get a Robert Englund return, but I think that there are a lot of actors who could pick up that mantle and run with it. What I want to see is a group of filmmakers and actors come together who understand the material and the story. It's really not that hard if you really think about it. Make Freddy scary and have him deliver some one-liners. I think there is a path that leads to several more Nightmare films and a resurgence for this iconic horror villain. Let's continue this franchise with love and care and not just as a money grab, which I think was a big problem with that remake. It could be a CM Punk level return or it could be a Tatanka level return. Obviously, I'm hoping for the former there. Coming in at number 4 is the Gill Man. Now, if you don't know who Gill Man is, he is the creature from the Black Lagoon. The original film was released in 1954 and was followed by Revenge of the Creature in 1955 and The Creature Walks Among Us in 1956. While the sequels are just okay at best, Creature from the Black Lagoon is one of my favorite Universal monster movies. It's unique for a few different reasons. One, it featured a ton of underwater sequences, which was not very common at the time. It was also kind of a last hurrah, so to speak, for the Universal monsters. I think the performances are great. The design of the creature is great. And anytime I talk about this film, I will sing the praises of Millicent Patrick. She was the one who designed the creature. She doesn't really get the credit she deserves, though. You see, another makeup artist named Bud Westmore is usually given credit for that, but no, it was Millicent Patrick. Millicent Patrick also holds the distinction of being one of the first female animators at Disney, which I think is pretty cool. But her work on Creature is absolutely iconic and deserves to be recognized. So, what made me think about this character making a return? Well, it's a few things actually. I've been interested ever since I learned that John Carpenter almost directed a remake. For this project, Rick Baker would have come on to work on the design of this version of the creature, and I think that would have been awesome. I think Carpenter would have made an amazing movie that paid a lot of respect to the original while adding that John Carpenter flair to it. To me, this is one of, if not the biggest missed opportunities in all of horror history. Beyond that, though, the last several years have seen other classic monsters get brought back, such as the Invisible Man and the upcoming Wolfman. Plus, we're always getting new versions of Frankenstein and Dracula, so why not the creature? Let him have his time in the spotlight, too. The good news is that James Wan is reportedly developing a new remake, and I've got to say, I trust him to make it good. Our number 3 entrants are the Killer Clowns. Look, Killer Clowns from Outer Space is the ultimate B-movie horror schlock. It knows exactly what it is and does not apologize for it whatsoever. The entire premise is just dumb, but damn, it is fun. The film was released in 1988, and there have been talks of a sequel for quite a while now, but it's never really come together. There hasn't really been any updates on this film lately, but with the release of the game this past year, I'm hoping that interest is up, and maybe that could lead to us finally getting the return of my favorite clowns. And hopefully Art didn't hear me say that, because I don't want him to do a run in here and kill me. But why do I want this so badly? Well, I admittedly watched this film later than I'd like to admit. I mean, I think I remember watching it when I was a kid, but I certainly didn't remember any of it. So my love of this movie is newer, and because of that, it's fresh in my mind, and I think it deserves to have another entry. I just hope that if we do get it, it maintains that same schlockiness that I love about the OG. I want Mike back. I want the Terenzi brothers back. I want Shorty and the other clowns capturing people in their cotton candy cocoons and taking them back to their circus tent spaceship. Yes, I know how ridiculous that sounds to anybody not smart to the movie, but for all of us who love it, that sounds like the greatest thing ever. At number 2, we have The Creeper. Alright, you're gonna have to bear with me a bit for this one. This is probably the entrant that I'm most skeptical about in this rumble. I love the original Jeepers Creepers. I can have a lot of fun with the second one even. The third one, well, it's not good. And the fourth is, to this day, one of the worst movies I have ever seen in my entire life. I mean, I would rather watch Sharkenstein than this piece of shit. This franchise is the epitome of the law of diminishing returns. They just got worse and worse with each entry. And it seems now that the franchise is dead and buried, which, in all honesty, may be a good thing. And there are a few reasons for that. Of course, you have the director of the first 3 films. The franchise has been taken away from him for obvious reasons that I'm not really going to get into here, but I still love that first movie. I've loved it ever since I was a kid before I even knew who the director was, and that's not just going to go away. The second reason is just how bad that latest movie was. I mean, they put it in someone else's hands in hopes of revitalizing the tarnished brand. Well, that didn't work out the way they hoped. And I know there were some factors that kept them from really making the movie that they wanted to make, but even if they had made that movie, I don't think it would have been much better. After this, it just seems like the franchise is on the shelf, and like I said, maybe that's a good thing. It would be an enormous risk to try to bring the character of the Creeper back yet again. So why do I want to see him make a return? The answer is simple. I'm a risk taker. I took a huge risk when I quit my job and moved to Atlanta to train at the Nightmare Factory. Didn't know anyone, didn't have a way to make money. I had to live in a freaking hotel for 3 months. But you know what? That risk was the most rewarding thing I have ever done in my life. Maybe I'm still not exactly where I want to be, but I don't regret taking that risk at all. I would give anything to go back and just be able to experience all that again. So yes, bringing the Creeper back is a huge risk, but it could be very rewarding. How do you make it rewarding though? You put it in the hands of someone who truly understands the character and the lore. You give it to someone who cares about the story and the presentation of the story. Spend some time working on the script. Make sure the special effects are good. Don't rely on CGI for everything, and make damn sure the Creeper looks terrifying. If they do all that, I can see a really good movie coming from it. Our final entrant today is going to be Victor Crowley. I absolutely love the Hatchet franchise. You had the first 3 that were just called Hatchet, and then you had the 4th one, which was called Victor Crowley. Now, I'm not sure the reason for the name change, but regardless, I have a lot of fun with all of these films. And I think Chris Jericho actually said it best. He had Adam Green, the creator of the franchise, on his podcast, and it was a great interview that you should definitely check out. But Jericho said that Victor Crowley walked so Art the Clown could run. And I think that is the truth. They have the same just over-the-top level of violence. The kills are so ridiculous that they could never even happen in real life. Crowley's are probably more ridiculous, honestly, and I love the use of practical effects for all of them. Hatchet was treated unfairly by both the MPAA and the production companies. Each film was given less time to shoot and less money, which really makes it difficult and I think hurts what you can do with the story. It sucks that that's how it went down, but it did. You can't dwell on those things. You just do the best you can and you make it work. And I think Adam Green did that. And I understand that these movies are not for everyone. My brother can't watch them because he gets kind of squeamish, and that's okay. But for me, I absolutely love it, and I want to see Victor Crowley make a triumphant return to our screens. He definitely deserves it. Adam Green has said that he would consider doing another one if the shooting schedule was better and if the budget was big enough. With the success of the Terrifier films, I definitely think that there's a path that leads to this. You don't even necessarily have to worry about ratings anymore. I mean, Terrifier 3 was released unrated and has made $90 million nearly worldwide. I think Victor Crowley could do that too, and I would love to see it. To me, this character has the most potential to have a great return out of everyone on this list, and that is why Victor Crowley is number 1. But there you have it. Those are 5 horror movie villains who deserve another chance. What did you think about my list? Let me know what characters you would have added to it. If you're interested in Redcon One products, I have a discount code that you can use to save 20% off of your entire order. Be sure to check that out. And you can also find all of my merchandise available at prowrestlingtees.com/AndrewDreamer or right under this video here on the channel. Also, head over to Patreon and consider joining us over there, or you can become a member right here on YouTube. I would really appreciate it either way. All of the links are going to be in the description below. Don't forget to like this video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss any of the action here at WWH. Now that we've talked about horror villains who should make a comeback, who are the best horror protagonists? Luckily, you can find out by watching the video that is appearing on your screen now. And remember, in the squared circle of horror, there are no countouts for nightmares. My name is Andrew Dreamer, and this is Wrestling with Horror.